Welcome to This Is How We Create, a show that digs deeper into the creative life of contemporary artists of color. Discover what feeds their creativity and how they found or are finding their artistic voice. Through these intimate and candid conversations, you'll gain insights into the lives of creative professionals of color that are hard to find anywhere else. Hey there, welcome back to This Is How We Create. My name is Martine Severin, your host. Today, I want to talk to you about the one thing nobody wants to post on Instagram, how you actually pay your rent as an artist. And so you've seen the work of other artists, the book covers, the gallery shows, the brand campaign. And yeah, it all looks really seamless, but what you don't see is the spreadsheet behind it. There are several income streams that might dry up in February. You don't see the clients that ghosted them after pitches or the hustle of stitching together a living from your creativity. And certainly we're not taught this, and art school doesn't hand you a business model, right? And your MFA might not even come with a revenue strategy. So most of us, we're out here guessing, we're burning out, or we're quietly wondering if we're doing it wrong. So in this episode, we have an illustrator, Andrea Pippins, who's going to talk to us about her income pie chart. And her income pie chart isn't just a single income stream. It's an income stream that takes into consideration her royalties, her speaking gigs, her book, and each slice of her income supports the others. It supports her life. Now, she originally got this from another friend. And when Andrea shared her income pie, I had to create my own income pie. So you'll have to see in the show notes the link to the article where I talk about my income pie. But in the meantime, we have Andrea who's joining us. Then we have illustrator Alex Cabal. And then lastly, we'll talk with photographer Chris Charles, who splits his income stream between his portraiture work, his consulting, and film work. I'm so pleased that both Andrea, Alex, and Chris came on the show and they were able to share their slice or their pie with us. Well, let's get to it. Let's dig in. Enjoy this conversation. Enjoy this mini episode and be sure to drop us a line with some of the things that you've learned. My information is in the show notes. I love your idea of the income pie in terms of creating a pie, not one you eat, people, but more like a pie that shows percentages of income in terms of, what income comes from doing this and that in your work, in your career. Can you tell me how you came up with that idea?
Yes. So actually, that was something that I borrowed from a friend, Lola. Let's see if I can say her name correct, her last name, Akimade at Orchestra. So she is also an author. She's a photographer as well. And she started this practice many years ago. So she had been posting her income pie chart for a while. And then I saw it and I was like, this is a fantastic idea. I would love to do this for my community. And the first one I think I did was in 2018. And I think it was really important for me to share because I would get a lot of questions about, income and how do you make money as an artist? How do you create a lifestyle that really makes sense for you based on what you're putting out into the world? And I wanted to show other artists that it's possible, but I also think it's possible with multiple forms of income, multiple streams of income, and just sharing, what that looks like for me. Because I think in general, talking about money is hard, but for artists, it's just, we're not taught business or anything in school and, the contracts and terms and all the things that come with the administrative and revenue income side of being an artist. Those things are just kind of put to the wayside and they're very important. We need to know we need to be more transparent so we can understand our value or the value in the work that we're creating and what is possible with our businesses.
So that said, what does your income pie look like these days?
So my most recent income pie chart was, I know that a majority of the income comes from books. So 70% comes from book projects. And then 22% comes from art commissions. So those would be like the freelance art projects from like brand collaborations or editorials for newspaper or magazines. And then 5% comes from my books, the royalties for my books, and then 3% for speaking engagements. So if I'm doing a class visit or teaching a workshop, that would fall under speaking.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Of course.
So I want to close the show by asking you about what advice would you give to yourself, your younger self, when you were just
Mm,
starting out as a graphic designer? And what advice would you give that younger Andrea about what it takes to be an artist and about what makes a good artist?
So young Andrea in the early stages of her career, not baby child.
Not baby, in the early stages of her career.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I would say travel more. And that's not directly connected to the career, but indirectly thinking about seeing the world and how other people live and create lives for themselves and being exposed to just different ways of being. I think seeing that earlier on, even though I was exposed to that in so many different ways, I think seeing that might have pushed me to pursue this path that I was on in terms of my books and art and illustration earlier.
So at this point, I'd love to ask you a question that I started asking other artists who've come on the podcast. And this question in particular, I got it originally from Andrea Pippins, who was recently on the show. So Andrea Pippins shared most recently on her Instagram what her income pie chart looks like. If you're comfortable, would you mind sharing what your income pie chart looks like?
Sure. So my income pie chart, I feel like changes all the time. So there can be, so there's years where most of my income would be from illustration client work, like the book covers or the editorials. So that would be a big chunk. But when that's slow, then I do a lot of art markets and conventions where I sell my art. So then that becomes a bigger chunk for that year. Sometimes when those are slow, then I'll have like passive income when I used to do Patreon, but those were, oh yeah, and my online shop. So I sell prints as well. And yeah, I think like this year, I feel like I'm kind of trying to switch it up. So because of all the burnout that I've been kind of accumulating because I would try to do everything at 100% when I should be kind of delegating which is like stronger for this year or like which one I should take advantage of more. I don't know if that answers your question, but yeah.
That is such a great, I mean, I think you gave me two answers, right? You
Oh,
gave me the answer what your income pie chart is, and essentially it changes from year to year, which I feel you, I get you. That
uh-huh.
happens with me as well. And then you also are in a stage of your business where you realize you can't do everything on your own and you need help. So is it generally just you, or do you have kind of like another freelancer or somebody else that you use to help you as needed?
So it's generally me doing everything. When I started doing more markets and I started getting more sales like online, my boyfriend would actually help me with kind of like the physical work. But when it comes to just doing, the artwork and everything, that's all me. I don't work with another illustrator in terms of delegating that work. It's more like if I can't do it, I'm just going to be like, I can't do it. So
That makes
I let
sense.
them, yeah, pass it on.
I think for me, one of the things that's been so good is to get just someone to come in and help with some of the admin tasks because it
Mm,
piles up so much. And it's not quite a studio manager, as a photographer.
mhm.
It's a little bit of lots of things. um, from researching to uploading pictures or doing selects. There's so many different things, but when I can, I find that it's really great to have the extra help.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the bigger lessons I'm learning now is to ask for help. Because like I was kind of in a very hyper individualistic kind of mindset when I quit my job and kind of separated from my family, it kind of reinforced that. But now it's more about asking the community or asking people who do support my work. Like, it's like, what's the best way to share my work, or like who's able to help me in other ways that I can't. And I think admitting that I can't do something is definitely a lesson in itself. And it just means that it's okay to ask for help.
Chris, one of the things that we've been talking about is an income pie chart for photographers and for creators in general. So if you were to think about your income pie chart, what would that look like? What percentage of your income comes in through headshots to doing creative direction and so on and so forth?
Yeah, that's really good question. I'd say been 70%, 70% portrait clients and the spectrum from, personal family moments to corporate headshots. And then I'd say like I change it. I'll go 60. I'll go 60% with that, with headshots. And then I'll go another 20% for consulting and design work. And then another 20% for filmmaking, actually, and doing short videos or even editing. Because sometimes I'm working on a project now, I'm just doing the sound design and I'm cutting the film, but I'm not actually filming it. So yeah, I think the bulk of my clients are on the photography portraiture side.
Mm-hmm.
What about
so
you?
Good.
What about you? I'm
It's
curious.
so different for everyone. Oh, for me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. I would say about 60% of my work is commercial photography. I have about 25% of my work as teaching and consulting. So that's 85%.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of the 15% is working on a family business that we have. Hi there. I have a quick favor to ask you before you go. If you're loving the show, would you mind taking a quick second to leave us a 5-star review on your favorite go-to podcast app? Here's the thing. Those reviews are like magic fairy dust. They help other creatives of color discover our show and tap into their own artistic superpowers. While you're at it, why not subscribe to our Substack newsletter, Creative Matters? Creative Matters is like a weekly dose of inspiration delivered straight to your inbox. You can find the link to subscribe in the show notes. All right, that's all that I have for you today. I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Bye.